the biggest loss wasn't on the scoreboard last night. The biggest loss came earlier in the game. This great play by Boogie Cousins. He's hustling to get after the ball, and there it is. They're calling it a significant left quad injury. Woj is reporting that doesn't look like Boogie will be back. This is obviously bad for the Warriors. What are the implications of this injury moving forward for this team?
Anybody that's followed this show the last 8 years, whether he was in Kentucky, whether he was in Sacramento, know how I feel about DeMarcus Cousins.
Yes.
As a player, but also as somebody I always felt like was miscast and misunderstood by the masses. And I don't think where he got drafted helped that dynamic, being a 2010 player playing on a lottery team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really sad for him because with the Pelicans last year, that was been his first opportunity to play in the playoffs. Has scored more points than any guy in the league who hadn't participated in the postseason. He tears his Achilles going after a loose ball after a free throw. You rehab. It's one of the toughest basketball injuries to come back.
Months after months after months.
You sign a 1-year, $5 million deal with the Golden State Warriors. Everybody else in the league is like, how did that just happen?
But the plan is to show out, to rehab, to get back and show your value, and then sign a long-term deal, and then this happens.
Unfortunately, he gets the opportunity to play in 1.5 games. One in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
1 game in 4 minutes, and to get injured on a non-contact play for a quad, that can be really tricky as it relates to recovery. I just feel bad for him in a lot of ways. From a basketball sense, from a business sense, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this free agency this offseason.
So before we get to what it means for the Warriors for the rest of this postseason, there's a part of me that says, does this mean that he could be back on the Warriors?
I think so.
That's one of the things I thought about. I was like, well, usually it's like, all right, he's going to show out with the Warriors, win a championship, and then someone's going to give him a big deal that the Warriors can't really give him. But this opens the door for him to stay with Golden State.
And the reason why I say that is, A, you don't want to be a player continuing to bounce around when you're as talented as he is, but obviously you got to do what you got to do to get your money. B, it's hard to be a free agent and injured at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Grant Hill is the only guy I recall to get a major deal on crutches. Okay, it's just a hard dynamic, and you want to start your rehab right now, and therefore you can start it with the club, remain with the club, and you don't have to change your medical reports. You don't have to switch up your routine.
Yep.
Like, you can get yourself back as soon as possible. So I think this now puts the Warriors in pole position for him to stay there another season.
Well, I'm looking at the second-round series. I'm already looking past the first-round series. I'm looking at the second-round series between the Rockets and the Warriors. We all know what happened last year, and Boogie was going to be an X factor in that series. And how does that matchup change now that Boogie's not going to be there?
Here's how. Because the Houston Rockets do a ton of switching on the perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
You put P.J. Tucker at 6'3" on DeMarcus Cousins, you're going to turn around and score on him every time. It's going to be a mismatch. Now, all of a sudden, that's Looney. He had a good game, however. He was 6 for 6. He had 19 points. Yep. Looney filled in well. But he's not. He didn't start in last year's All-Star game. DeMarcus Cousins did.
Mm-hmm. Andrew Bogut wasn't in the NBA this year.
How about
until late in the year.
How about
and now they're looking at him to carry them to a championship and match up against some of the best centers.
Since the All-Star break, the Golden State Warriors had the most efficient post-up offense in the entire NBA. So to lose a guy that's going to take advantage of his man, in particular, when you go against somebody like Jokic, who's on a number 2 seed, who Boogie dominated both times he faced, or against a Rockets team that do a lot of switching, it's going to make it a really tight series. I already, with Boogie, felt like the Rockets have what it takes to push the Warriors. I've been saying it.
I can't wait for that.
It legitimizes it.
But, of course, we have to talk about some unfounded.
Oh, no!
Irresponsible.
No! Help! I need somebody! Help!
Speculation about free agent Kevin Durant. Here's an update. Jalen Rose, I'm going to do the media thing. I'm going to read too much into a very insignificant clip of video. Are you ready for that?
Sure.
Here is Steph Curry warming up. Tribute to Tiger Woods. He does a swing, shoots a 3, and hits it, celebrates. Does Durant look a little perturbed to you?
No, he
Does
looks
Durant
like a
look
guy.
a little like, dog, hurry up and finish this so I can
he
shoot?
letting Steph cook. And that's really a routine that he getting into, right? And so now I've got to come on the court and concentrate and get my jimmies up. I don't think there's anything personal. I don't think he could take it any type of way. I feel like he leaving anyway, and it ain't because of that clip.